front. I want to ask you a question. Who's coaching you? Who's asking you the tough questions? Who's telling you, man, you're the common denominator to all of your issues and challenges? Who's telling you, man, all day long, you become the magnetic pulse that attracts to you both good and bad? I want to be your life coach. I want to be the one that cheers you on to the finish line. I want to be the one that you ask the tough questions. And it doesn't mean that I have all the answers, but that means that you have a partner, someone who believes in you, not the you see right now, but the you can't imagine, the you that you are to become, the you are destined to be. I always say we both need the positive and the negative. It's not enough to have the knowledge of the matter, but we must have the wisdom as well. For wisdom settles it. And that's what I want to offer you as you join me on the Coach's Corner. I want to offer you the wisdom of the matter. Maybe it might be relationships, talking about our campaigns for more, for life, the dark room of our subconscious, our spiritual journey, whatever it is. I want to be there to encourage you, to build you, to challenge you, to cheer you on to the finish line. I'm qualified to do this. Why? Because I'm you. Well, welcome to another edition of the Coach's Corner right here on SIBN Radio. And we are ecstatic about our new topic today. The law of opposites versus attraction. You've heard about the law of attraction, but you have not heard particularly about the law of opposites. Today we want to talk about that. So we would be remiss if we did not say thank you to all of our listeners worldwide. And my name is Marcus Saletta, aka The Coach, and as I approach the microphone, I got some issues, but I trust that I also can bring wisdom from the problems and the issues that I have learned to solve. And hopefully that will give me the opportunity to earn the right to speak into your life. And as we move forward, let me say thank you to the listeners on the various platforms where SIBN television and radio broadcasts. And let me invite you to visit our site for moral, ethical, financial support. We need you in the house. www.wesupport USA TV. I'd like to see you there. Well, let's get right to work. Mr. Coach. The law of opposites versus the law of attraction. Everyone seems to be talking about what it means to get yourself in shape mentally, psychosocially, and beyond to bring to you what you want. But no one talks about the suffrage of those who try that on every level and have minimized results. I think it is because, as a fighter once said, and I do not quote because I don't have the actual quote, but the nugget thereof is summarized like this: the lack of honor and respect for your opponent is your first evidence of defeat. That sounds like that's my original quote, but I took that from the philosophy of a fighter who believed, Bruce Lee, by the way, who believed that honor and respect is to be given and bestowed upon each fighting opponent. Because the duality, both training and respect and honor of your opponent for in preparation for the battle, makes you fully prepared. But arrogance has no place in the ring. Confidence is the only thing that matters. So when you think about the law of attraction, what do you do when the magnet is not attracted to the wood, to the plastic, to the soil? What do you do about the things in life you can't see or seemingly consciously control? What do you do? If you are already providing incidents to prevent accidents, what do you mean, coach? Accidents occur because we thought we were in control, and then we were shocked. The shock and awe valuation of conscious living, you see. Wrong place, wrong time, wrong crowd, wrong event. And how many years do we have people blaming themselves because they were haphazard, perhaps, going about life, or even consciously going about life, bringing to themselves all they desire? Well, the law of opposites says, I will push back on desire and step up on discipline. I felt that one right there. Something pushed me on that one right there. I'm going to push back on desire. The law of opposites. Culture says to be sexually active is the thing that's in. Well, the law of opposites was saying, well, I'm going to push back on that, and I'm going to be celibate and free. Now, I may not be culturally acceptable, and it may not necessarily be, somebody might think that I'm gay, and if they do think that, that's okay. They can think whatever they want, but I'll be free of the radicals and the composites of cultural chaos, because I'll be celibate and free. I added that free in there because anybody that's celibate, I'm talking about for real. Now I ain't talking about this sucking and licking and all this, and then you want to step back and say you celibate. I ain't talking about all that. I'm talking about folks who really go to distance, even young folks who go to distance. And they say, no, I just believe, okay? That's what you call the law. That's somebody right there, before I go into my other examples, that's practicing the law of opposites right there. There's a pushback on what is popular. And there's an inauguration on the uncensored but yet unpopular way. I felt that push me right there. See, the law of opposites. The law of opposites is always at work. For instance, you're running late. You get into your car, you throw the kids in there and so forth and so on. And now you get out there on the freeway. You forgot to put this on. Your eyeliner's half done. Your eyelash fell off. And you're just going. You're trying to get to work. You're running late. And somebody's in front of you touring the freeway. You're like, okay, why are you even on this road? You're not even trying to get anywhere. You're just here. The law of opposites have taken place. Because when you're in a hurry, someone else will get in front of you that is not. The law of opposites is also true, even in relationships. Somebody said one time, they says, well, I don't know if I'm ready to get married because I haven't tried them out in bed. Well, once you think you know, you can't grow. And one of the reasons why a lot of us are having a lot of struggles, because we forget that there is an invisible world as well as a visible world. And until we get that balance of consciousness in our spirit, we will not be able to modestly move about the cabin, as one airline says. There is two dimensions, maybe more, there's really more than that, but two dimensions that I speak of on this point. The dimension that is seen and the dimension that is unseen. And the things that are unseen are more valuable than the things that are seen. So while you're walking in the law of attraction, you may be wondering why you got holes in your pocket, or why things are not, why you got such a chaotic relationship. Well, because you don't practice the law of opposites. If, for instance, I have said this over and over, practice when you can by choice. Suffering by choice and not by force always yields greater results. Because the only thing that you can do from suffering by force is learn from that suffrage. But suffrage that is self-imposed, I'm not talking about stupidity stuff now, but suffrage that is self-imposed, that one may be available consciously, subconsciously, spiritually, if you will, available to pick up and to tune in to that which they don't control. I need some help right there. Oh. We're so caught up on what we can control. We're caught up on what we know. We're caught up on the power grabs of life. But I may, as one preacher once said, he says, I may have some witnesses somewhere who can testify that the opposites of life are at work. The things that we think would work are working, and the things that we thought wouldn't work, you see what I'm saying? The things we thought that wouldn't work are working, and the things that we thought would work are not working. The people that we thought would support us are not supporting, and the people that we never thought would support us are supporting us. The law of opposites are always at work around us every single day, but we choose what we want to focus on because we like to be in control. But the law of opposites says, I give up conscious control to take control subconsciously. In other words, as my body breathes involuntarily, I do not say to it, breathe. I do not speak to it, breathe. It has automatic, all mechanisms. Talk about momentous power. Talk about algorithms. Talk about patterns. This body that we live in has it all. And parts of it operates in the conscious realm. But the other parts of it operates in the spiritual or the subconscious realm, or even subconsciously, spiritually so. Parts of it we can control, but parts of it, in other words, if you choose to give up control to control, it is called the law of opposites. For instance, if I can borrow from a man named Jesus who said, now look here, no one is going to take my life. I need some help right there, but I will lay it down. In other words, there will be a violent confrontation, but not because you stepped to me and took something. I felt something right there push me. And this is where victimization has to take its power right here. Victimization always ends when the person practices the law of opposites, because at the time of the incident or accidents and the incidents and the chaos and the confusion, the law of attraction is at work. I need some help right there. The person is attracting to themselves incidents and accidents and chaotic situations that threatens them and puts their life at risk. And so to be relieved from a situation that is unsafe for her or for him or for the children, they have to practice what they wouldn't practice before, which is the law of opposites. In other words, there's another proverb that says, don't let the left hand know what the right hand is doing. I got to take a break on that one right there. DJ, you got me some music. I want to see if the DJ is ready for me today. Don't let the left hand know what the right hand is doing. Take a small break. Be right back. Yeah, the law of opposites. Don't let the left hand know what the right hand is doing. It's a whole consciousness that we have not even discussed about that resides within the law of opposites. We're so busy in control of everything. We're trying to be in control of everything. You're running late. Like I said, my first example, you're running late for work. You know you're supposed to be there at a certain time. You're running 30 minutes, 20 minutes late, but you get on the freeway and you want to bump everybody, and you ought to know that the law of opposites are at work right there on the freeway. Someone is going to get in front of you and go slow. Perceptionally, they're slow, and realistically, they're slow, because you know what? You need to slow down, and you need to get a hold of yourself and push back on whatever's making you late and be on time, unless you can find a way to make that work for you. Some people get off on that kind of stuff, stress and hype, but it may not be good for your blood pressure. I'm just saying. It may not be good for your blood pressure to be doing all that to yourself. Just go on and prepare the night before and get up a little early. But that's the example of what I'm talking about. Law of attraction happens every Friday. Every payday, law of attraction happens. Law of opposites happens. Law of opposites happens every payday. You were regarding your check. Now you see it. Now you know. You see what I'm saying? Until you do the unexpected, the imaginary can never be realized. Until you do the unexpected, he or she that is predictable becomes expendable. Until I bring shock and awe value myself instead of waiting for others to bring shock and awe. Now listen, if others bring shock and awe, something shocks you, something awes you, something woos you, okay, we have ways to deal with that. But what I'm also talking about is the preparatory consciousness of where we walk into a situation subconsciously not even realizing that we are prepared for it because we have taken suffrage and placed it in perspective. So what is suffrage? Well, I'm going to prepare the night before. I know that I'm watching. Oh, girl, you know, I love to watch me some Housewives. But you know you should be getting your dresses ready, getting this ready, making your lunch so it can help you be on time. But you're not going to suffer anything because why? Your favorite show is on. And so you are going to do whatever the heck you want to do. And you're going to think that you're going to bring everything that you need and that your children need or that your mate needs or that your partner needs. You think you're going to just walk in the law of attraction and it's just going to work without any suffrage? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Do you think this is for real? That's one of the reasons why our society is all caught up in sensualism. Materialistic, sensual. Whatever feels good, do that. Take a small break. Be right back. The law of opposites. You can't be in control and grow at the same time. You're either going to grow and not be in control, or you're going to control and not grow. But if you want to grow while you're not in control, then practice the law of opposites. In other words, if you give up control, then guess what? Now you're in control. As I said, Jesus said, no man's going to step to me and take my life with an act of violence. But I tell you what I will do. I'll lay it down. I'll lay it down. That is the law of opposites. It seemed like through going to the cross of Calvary that he is not in control. But I promise you, he was in full control. We don't know how to do that yet. We have to learn how to control without being controlling. Controlling is the cognitive, the intelligent entities comforting me because I know what someone else doesn't know. I have what someone else doesn't have. But to take control of me is really how to be free. I'm about ready to get out of here. This thing drive me nuts. The law of opposites. What you think won't work will. What you think will work won't. The people that you think will support won't support. The people that you think won't support will support. The people that you think will listen to your radio show won't listen. The people that you never imagined would listen are listening. The girl that you think or you thought you would never attract becomes now plausible and possible because you've had enough suffrage self-imposed. I choose to walk away from a dogfight because I don't have the energy or the time to waste my potential or purpose
is I'm going to practice the law of opposites when I hear some good gossip on the job. Because I realize and understand that to attract to me something that will have a full manifestation, not a partial manifestation, but a full manifestation, then I'm going to have some suffrage. I'm going to have a little suffering in the way. And so when I hear that good gossip about the person I know I can't stand, then I am going to shut my mouth. And I'm not going to be involved. I'm going to choose. And when they step to me and say, sister, did you know, honey, did you know, girl, did you hear? You're going to be like, no, I'm not interested. That's if gossip is your problem, you know. Practice OBM, opposite behavior modification. What you normally would do, don't. What you normally don't do, do. This is not sacrificing any moral, ethical, or integral positioning of our character. This is stratagem in the psychosocial avenue of life. Back in the old days, we would tolerate more than we could admit. But now, we can admit what we've tolerated, so that we can truly be ready for the law of attraction, see? Because the law of attraction is always working too, but you may not like the fruit that you eat, and you may not like the results that you see. I'm just saying. Small break. Be right back. The law of opposites includes a voluntary suffrage. A voluntary suffrage of some kind. You always do what you've always done. You always get what you've always gotten. The law of opposites. Risk takers. Some calculated, some projected risk. But all risk assessments are still risk. You know what I'm saying? That's why they call them risk. In fact, there is a whole system built on the insurance therein of risk. You know what? We will assess it, but we will insure against it. That is the law of opposites. Now look, I ain't no genius, but I ain't stupid. You can't get everything in your life through the law of attraction. You don't have to choose to walk in the opposite. Here's a little saying that I have. If you can create an incident to prevent an accident, because we're not playing games, but we're playing the game of life. You know, those people that play games, they're going to get played. They're going to get what's coming, because data in, data out. So the seed, you can't doubt the harvest that will come back to haunt you. But if you understand the balance of life, and if you understand that consciously you cannot control and understand everything, then you will submit to the subconscious aspect of your spiritual dimension, and you will allow it to come alive. And see what you never saw before, hear what you never heard before, go where you've never gone before, because you are now balanced and you are armed with the left and the right, though the right may not know what the left is doing and the left may not know what the right is doing. You're armed with the duality of power. We love the power that we can comprehend, but there is a power that is beyond comprehension. Christians call it resurrection power. Farmers call it farming power. Agricultural power. That the seed must go in the ground and die. That's the law of opposites. Wait a minute. No. We got to see what's going on. No. You have to prepare for the death of an opportunity. And then you'll be ready for it. I said you have to prepare for the death of an opportunity. It's one of the reasons why I say in business I have learned not to be desperate, because desperation, I don't know, it just seems to increase the magnification of where you're not and get you ready for what you can't handle, or get you ready for something that is not for real. Folk talk a good game, and then when you get to the negotiating table, it ain't even about nothing. You done wasted your time, your emails, your phone texts, and everything else trying to keep up with the Joneses over some deal that never even came to fruition. Because you always walk in the law of attraction. That's why that happened. Don't waste my freaking time. Their time is too short, potential is too long, opportunities are too wide for me to be sitting here on one side of the tracks thinking that I'm going to attract everything to myself. No, some things I'm going to detract myself from, such as monks do, such as priests do, such as athletes do, such as mothers do. They say no to things. You ever remember looking on the pamphlet, some of you mothers out there, and it says, if you are pregnant, do not take this medicine. It will have an adverse effect on the baby. And as a result of the projected, not necessarily just a sonogram, but projected belief that the child will be okay, the parent pauses her drinking that she may give the child a chance of full development. That is the law of opposites at work. There's always a suffrage in the law of opposites. That suffrage is preparatory for the law of attraction. There's always a suffrage. A lot of people are running around, particularly in African American communities right now, they're enjoying the good life, but they don't realize that there was the law of opposites in full bloom prior to, the life that they're living now, the life that their parents even lived, that their grandparents and great-grandparents were suffering. And some chose. They could have left. They could have ran. They could have, opposed. They could have used violence. They could have, and many did. But the point is, there was a suffrage that preceded the projected pleasure of a manifestation or a promise fulfilled or a desire accomplished. I gotta go. Y'all don't want to mess with me today. I get fired up about this one. The law of opposites. I give you. I know this is not going to be right when I say this, but if you are having problems in your relationship, now this should be coupled with advice. Don't try this at home, but if you're having problems in your relationship and you got a good relationship, sit down on it. Don't do nothing. Just be shut up, be quiet, clean up, read a book. Just take a chill pill. And I'm not saying act like you don't care, but I'm saying just chill. You're going to find that relationship comes back to you and talks to you and tell you of itself and gives you, if you listen long enough to a person, they'll give you the answers you need so that you can have better responses and reactions. If you listen, the law of opposites right there. You normally talk, shut up, wait, quiet yourself. You may feel cold. You may seem callous because you've never tried it before. That's the law of opposites. Whatever you try that you've never tried feels the opposite of what you normally would try. But then all of a sudden the person comes, the answer comes, the solution comes, and this is the power that I speak of. Well, until next time, whatever you do, take care of yourself. This is the Coach's Corner. Join me on Twitter at SelectUSATV, Facebook.com at SelectUSATV there. YouTube channel, Select USA TV. New website, 415-96radio.com. And don't forget to support us financially. www.WeSupportSelectUSATV.com. This is Coach.